Hello and welcome to the first video of your A-Level Chemistry online course. The material here covers Unit 1, Atoms and Bonding. Specifically, this video is about atoms and subatomic particles. In this video, we will look at the concept of the atom and how this has evolved, and 2, we will introduce the subatomic particles that are of interest to the chemist. The idea of atoms has a very, very long history. The word atom itself is from the Greek meaning indivisible. The idea is, if I took something and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again and again and again and again, eventually I would come to a point where I could no longer divide it. This would be the smallest particle from which the thing I had started with was made. This would be an atom. Many people think of atoms as small hard spheres. Indeed, early models of the atom described them as such. We will see, however, that current models of the atom are far from this analogy. Atoms are all around us, make up all the matter which we as people live in. All solids, liquids and gases are made of atoms. The chair that you sit on, the air that you breathe, the water that you drink. The current model of the atom has a dense nucleus which has mass and is positively charged. This here is a positive. And it has mass. Circulating around the nucleus in clouds we have electrons, negative charge. Electrons are negatively charged and have a much smaller mass. The nucleus itself is made up of two kinds of subatomic particles, neutrons and protons. What I'm going to do now is draw a pictorial representation of a helium atom. So here are two protons, and also in the nucleus of a helium atom, two neutrons which have zero charge. and circulating around this in an orbital, we have 2 electrons. So let's label these. Protons, neutrons, and these electrons have a charge of -1, and electrons. So what we'll notice is that here there are 2 positive charges. These are matched in a neutral atom by 2 negative charges of the electrons. So in all, this gives us 3 kinds of subatomic particle that we're interested in. So I'm going to draw a little table of these subatomic particles. Let's start here. Protons, neutrons, and electrons. Oops. It's not a very tidy table, but no matter. Charge and mass. So protons, the charge is +1 and the mass is 1. Neutrons, the charge is 0 and the mass is 1. And electrons, the charge is -1 and the mass is 1,836th the mass of a proton. So these masses are relative to the mass of a proton. This is nearly it for the first video. By far the most important piece of information I've given you so far is the table with the relative charges and masses of the subatomic particles. You must learn these numbers so that you never forget them. If you're anything serious about studying chemistry, this is essential information. On a lighter note, one of the things that modern universities always say that they want from their students is the ability to carry out independent research. The AQA specification states that students should appreciate that knowledge and understanding of atomic structure has evolved over time. In view of these 2 things, your first exercise of the course is to research and write a paragraph about the contributions that various scientists throughout history have made to our understanding of the atom. The scientists are listed on the worksheet, exercise 1.1. You can use the internet or any other source that you can access to basically carry this exercise out. So, looked at the concept of the atom. And your carrying out exercise 1.1 will give you knowledge of how this has evolved over time. And we have introduced the subatomic particles relevant to chemists. So that's the end of the first video. Thank you for listening.